want to scratch your teeth at me and saying the problem is me? You know what? The problem is you. The problem is the human freaking race. All you try to do is hurt others, and you want to call that love?
And yet again, here's Renee going off on one of her crazy rants. Seriously, this woman is impossible to deal with. So why is Chidi dealing with her? And how much longer can he possibly put up with this?
I can't express my opinions. I can't express my feelings. Everything revolves around Rayne. So it is over. We cannot make it together.
Please stick to your guns, Chidi, please stick to your guns. Now, before we dive into Renee's craziness, and I hope the straw that's broken the camel's back, let's rewind to the start. So we left Renee in her nightwear, excited at the fact that Chidi had reached out to her to meet up. And when we join her today, as she continues to convince herself that she's done nothing wrong, she's hoping that Chidi has come to his senses.
He had a lot of time to think about him and I, and I'm hoping that he would actually be like, oh, I really want to go with you to the hotel. I want to start hanging out with you now.
It's crazy, isn't it? After everything that's happened, Renee still genuinely seems to think that there's a chance Chidi will turn his back on his religion and his family in order to join her in her hotel room. But from the conversations he's had with his family and his friends, I really don't think. I think there's zero chance that Chidi will be ripping her clothes off and making love to her. Now, when they do finally reunite, they actually get off to a good start. There's smiles, hugs, they're very tactile. But as Renee guides Chidi to the shore, he reveals why he's really here.
I came to the beach to tell her that I'm no more interested in this relationship. I cannot help but remain open-minded and hopeful that she's going to have an open dialogue about our relationship.
Chidi's hope is that the serenity of the beach will help them to rationally talk through their issues. But, he says, if we can't, then I'm ready to end things. Now, unfortunately, Renee has no idea that this is the case. She thinks that Chidi has come to apologise. And literally seconds after sitting down, it all begins to kick off. You see, Chidi brings up Renee's least favourite topic in the whole wide world. His sister.
I made mention of you not liking sisters.
Well, yeah, you know me in the long run. There's a reason. And now this extreme blow up.
We have our different opinions about that.
Renee's acting like her behaviour with Chidi's sister was valid because, don't you remember Chidi? She had this prophetic dream years ago about having a problem with a man's sister. And now, lo and behold, she was right. Right? It just sounds crazy. And no, she's wrong. She's deliberately chosen to fall out with Victoria to try and prove herself right in some warped, weird kind of way. But the problem now is that the fact that Chidi has dared to bring up his sister has once again triggered Renee's anger. And boy, has she been triggered.
All you want to do is go run to your sisters, run to your sister. So what do you want?
Babe, we're here.
No, what do you want? What are you want here? I'm just telling you that, come on, my days are here, touch yourself. That's what you used to.
She's just so disrespectful. Chidi wants to talk, Renee. Talk, not fight. But sadly, the reality is that's just impossible for this lady when she's constantly in fight or flight mode. This is a lady who either fights with everyone, completely incapable of having a civil conversation, or she flees. She flees like she did from Chidi's home. But it's this attitude that's gonna lose her, Chidi, lose her, the man she claims to love. It's so sad and it's so tragic that she flat out refuses to see the error of her ways.
I'm done with all their drama.
Do you ever think you could be overreacting about Chidi's sister?
I don't ever feel like I overreact.
Really? Really? Is that what you're gonna claim?
Oh, hell no.
Right,
Because what would happen? There's a happen. There's a reason. I don't want to argue, okay?
No, we are not arguing.
Shut up, Dad. I'm trying to be nice to you.
Said you can't cope with sisters.
Shut up, Chidi.
No.
Hey, you care more
No, don't
about the
shout.
world? I'm on a different spiritual plane. Woo, woo, woo. Calm down, girl. Let that chicken live.
Yeah, clearly you never overreact, Renee. Never. No way. Impossible. Gosh, run, Chidi. Just run for your life. Like, not only does Rayne not have a single ounce of self-awareness, but the way she just says that, the way she blankly said to the producer with no facial expression or emotion, seriously gives me the chills. There's something really not right with this lady. But as we flip back to Chidi and Rayne's conversation, or should I say their argument, Rayne now resorts to trying to dominate Chidi. She's trying to dominate the conversation and refuse to let him talk.
Okay, I get you.
Can I talk?
I get you.
Can I talk?
Go
Please,
for it, Junior.
My sister, to my best of knowledge, the only time
Just keep it up, don't
the
you?
only time,
I would love to go out there and sail out.
Look, all Chidi wants to do is to clarify exactly what it was that Victoria did that upset Rayne so much. I think that's something we'd all like clarification on, wouldn't we? But Rayne just talks down at him. She literally calls him Junior to try and undermine any authority he may have. And when he continues to talk, she has the audacity to shush him.
All buildings way out there on the right.
Hear me out for a second. You just want me to do everything.
Look at the net. Look at the net. You want to go down there and walk in the water? We've been through the same thing over and over.
No.
I see you're sucking your sister's tits.
Rayne has no ability to hear any criticism about herself. She immediately tries to shut it down so that she doesn't have to hear it. But the fact is, these two haven't had a conversation since she stormed out of the house. How can she possibly claim that they've gone through the same thing over and over? They haven't. So why is Chidi even bothering at this point? Why is he putting up with this?
You told me you've never been in a healthy relationship, that all the relationships you've been have been toxic. If you want people to love you, if you want people to respect you, you should learn how to respect others.
Yes, Chidi, perfect. This is exactly what Rayne needs to hear. That is, if she was listening. But, sadly, the minute that Chidi implied that she herself might be responsible for a series of failed relationships with drug addicts, guess what? She just stopped listening. She probably can't hear anything over the white-hot rage that's bubbling away inside of her.
And now you want to scratch your teeth at me and saying the problem is me? You know what? The problem is you. The problem is the human freaking race. All you try to do is hurt others, and you want to call that love?
Yeah, of course, Rayne, of course. The problem is everyone, literally the entire human race, everyone in the world, but it's not you. She's really convinced herself of that. She's really convinced herself that the sweet blind Christian man with the lovely smile is out to hurt her. Sorry, Rayne, sorry, but the shoe just doesn't fit. And as she continues on this nonsensical rant, babbling about the human race, Chidi desperately urges her to look inward, even just a little bit.
I don't want to look inwards with you. You start looking inwards.
I came out here today to see if Chidi might want to reconcile, but right now, he is definitely crossing the line.
It's funny, right? Rayne says one thing, but her actions say something completely different. She says she came here to reconcile, but that's total bullshit. She's not capable of that. Unless, of course, Chidi says exactly what she wants to hear. Yeah, that's not reconciliation, you unhinged woman. But the thing is, because Chidi blamed her for her toxic exes, now Rayne resorts to low blows. She feels like she needs to get even.
Are you doing it for a visa?
Is that what you think?
Yeah, that's all you freaking want. That's why you want to marry me. That's why you're that obsessed with me.
That's a huge, totally unwarranted claim to make, Rayne. Sorry, there's nothing in the guy's behaviour that suggests he's with her for a green card. And you can literally see how offended Chidi is at that accusation. Poor Chidi is now in a position where he needs to defend himself from something that isn't even related to why they're fighting.
I don't need it from you, please. If I really want the visa, I would have submitted, which includes having sex with Rayne. But I will not sell my soul for a visa.
Chidi He's right, isn't he? The easiest path to the visa would have been to satisfy her every demand. It would have been to pretend that everything's fine. But I think we all agree that sleeping with Rayne definitely isn't worth it for a green card. Now, Chidi realises that Rayne has only brought this up to deflect, and it saddens him when he realises that they will never be able to work on any issues if she always acts like this.
I just want an honest discussion with you.
Okay, you're still talking. Say what you're gonna say so that we can clear it up. What's wrong with you? You don't listen. I'm listening.
She's sick, and frankly, I can't believe that Chidi's stuck around for this long. Chidi's tried to communicate over and over again, and Rayne hasn't let him. So her sheer audacity, the audacity to mock him and tell him to get on with it, is ridiculously hard to accept. It's a hopeless situation, and Chidi just needs to get up and leave, now.
If I'm a little too much for Chidi, I will withdraw myself out of your life.
I have no issue with that.
Rayne really wasn't expecting that response, was she? Did she really think that Chidi was just going to sit there and take this abuse endlessly? That he would somehow fight for them after being told he's stupid, he sucks on his sister's tit, and he's only doing this for a visa? Yeah, she's a miserable human being, and if she can't learn to work on herself, she needs to be alone, and by the looks of things, she will be.
I can't express my opinions. I can't express my feelings. Everything revolves around Rayne. So it is over. We cannot make it together.
And exhale. Everyone can now release that breath that we've all been collectively holding. It's over. It's finally over. And thank goodness for that. Chidi has enough self-respect to call this a day. He's walking away from that which he knows he'll never be able to change. I think it's ironic that the faith he has, the faith that Rayne hates so much, may actually be what kept him in this relationship for so long. But while we might all be relieved, Rayne is heartbroken.
This was the worst heartbreak I've ever had in my entire existence. Devastated, pissed, sad. Like, how could someone be so hurtful?
So, has Rayne learnt nothing from this exchange? I mean, I guess she could have, had she actually listened to a word he said, but this is just proof that she hasn't. She's walking away from this once again, genuinely believing that she's the victim. She thinks she's been wronged and that he's a horrible human being. Again, it's crazy. Like, after all the things that she said to him, can someone please explain what is it that she's seeing that we're all missing? How does she think that Chidi was the hurtful one in this scenario?
It's heartbreaking to see someone that stood for you so strong tear you down to the degree that he did. It's over forever.
Sorry? Who tore who down? Did we watch the same thing? Rayne has proven that she's delusional. And if Chidi isn't in the back of his Uber, now feeling as light as a feather, then there's no hope for him either. The guy's had a lucky break. He should be thanking his lucky stars. But, and it is a big but, given how early into the season we are, given that Rayne's told us she's still got about half of her time left in Nigeria, and we've seen how reluctant she is to book a return flight home early, I just really, really hope that he means what he says. I hope that Chidi doesn't go running back to her, because if he does, well, then God help him.